Lucy Hopton and this is Student Talk News, and today we're going to be discussing if there's enough mental health support for students at university.
Due to crippling debts, competitive job markets and the uncertainty of prospects after university, there is a tremendous amount of pressure on this year's new intake of students. 1 in 4 students are waiting to use counselling services.
I'm at Middlesex University to see what the university and the students have to say about the news topic.
There's quite a lot. There's like all the stuff with the student help, the uni help, and like everyone down in the MDX house. There's like loads of people to talk to, and like your tutors and stuff. They're really helpful to talk to if like you need anything.
I think we have a psychologist on site as well, so if people are struggling with something like that, there's always someone to go and see, which I think is very good.
The issue is it's not talked about, so I'm not aware that there is even a mental health support available for students.
And for me personally, it's like if I don't keep up with the quality that I usually deliver, I get like really stressed, and I know some of my peers also have that problem. Yeah, probably that.
As over 500,000 students started university in the UK in 2017 alone, there has been a rise in mental health illnesses such as depression and anxiety disorders.
At Leeds University, there has been a 50% increase in demand over the past 5 years for student counselling, with a 12% rise this year alone. The University of Birmingham revealed that there has been a 5 to 6 annual increase in demand in the past 10 years. We interviewed Kate Woodrow, Head of Counselling at Middlesex University, to ask about the underlying issues and the taboo surrounding mental health.
Being different, being seen as different, weird, ill, dysfunctional is a big concern. Some of that is that for many students who are coming to university post sixth form at around about the age of 18, one is still in the developmental life stage of forming their identity, getting a sense of who they are, breaking away from family and getting a sense of their individual identity, and the who am I good enough, and do I fit in, is still very much a concern as we as human beings are in that stage of the journey. It's not necessarily that students ignore. I think similar to the idea that when we talk about disabled students, it's not students that disable themselves, it's society that does the disabling. It is very much in terms of students holding back and perhaps not prioritising their needs or coming forward for support. It is because they are experiencing the reality of discrimination and stigma. There are safeguards legally now in place that that protect students that are living with longer term health conditions and disabilities, but that still doesn't necessarily mean much for a student that's alone in their room, really worried about their health, but really concerned that they might get exited off their course if they disclose what they're going through. Many of our students, not just here at this university but across the UK, have to work at least part-time, sometimes nearing full-time hours, and be doing their degree studies in order to keep afloat financially. And research from the National Union of Students and other bodies that are involved in student mental health are indicating that financial worries are at the forefront of students' concerns, often part of the reason why they might present at student counselling and mental health services. So one of the aspects I think that at work is that students may feel they can't afford to be distressed or unwell. I think the second thing is stigma. I think there is a sense of despite the consistent message that 1 in 4 of us will experience psychological distress at some point in any given year, I think students, like anybody, there is particular stigma around mental distress and mental illness, and that's something that gets in the way, and particularly for students where the idea, there's quite a lot of social pressure, to have fun. This is the best years of your life. Being depressed, being anxious, experiencing hearing voices is not something that's in the narrative about what a cool or healthy students should be experiencing. So I think those things at work can make it very difficult for higher education students to pause and to think about what they're experiencing and to acknowledge that they might need some extra support.